Frank was so surprised. My job was generator operator. No hearing, no earphone, and just all day long run the big generator for all the equipment. But there'd be time when I could sit in the computer module and there was a manual. So I read the manual. So that's what happened. The guy comes in with Frank and I think the battalion commander, and he's from the feds. And, well, what's going on here? What do you do here, soldier? I said, well, and I just recited it. I said, this is considered the brains of the system. It receives from the tracking instrument an electrical form the coordinates of the target in spherical coordinates, X sub O, Y sub O, H sub O. And it takes this information, transforms that into slant range, distance, and azimuth, sends it to the guns, and all operations are continuous, automatic, and almost instantaneous, sir. Well, I'm a buck private. I wasn't even first class, And after they left, Frank came back. He said, well, that. I said, well, it's in the book. I am amazed at how often people don't read the book. Right. I mean that as a metaphor. Yeah. Like every year I would do a workshop at the conference, and I tried to never repeat. Right. Some people did the same. At one arrow in their quiver, year after year, you'd see they're doing the same workshop. And you could make an argument, well, maybe new people. But Aunt Ruth always felt I had groupies. And I thought, geez, I don't want him to come back. Geez, he did that last year. He did that 3 years ago. So it was always different. Why was I telling you that?
About the book.
Oh, yeah. Well, sometimes, I got the journals. Sometimes it'd be a really nice activity in the journal. So I do that. I build a workshop around it. Ralph, Dr. Where did you get such? They're subscribing to it. They're not reading it. It's sitting on it. It was just amazing how people don't read the book.
Wow. It's a good metaphor for life.
Huh?
It's a good metaphor for life.
Maybe, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it was, I wasn't a good student in high school, but I learned very quickly, when I got back to school after some crummy jobs. And I'm maybe I've told you this one, but it's one of my favorite. My first course at Harvard was 13, graduate course, invertebrates, toughest course I've ever had. A wonderful guy, John Henry Welch. And the first day, everybody's there early, and, I'm not the most outgoing guy, I'm just sitting there. And I suddenly realized they're comparing class rings. Well, East New Haven State teachers had them. I didn't buy it. I couldn't, thought it was too expensive. So at some point they turned to me and they said, well, where did you do your undergraduate work? That. So I told them, I said, New Haven State Teachers College. Well, where is it? What is it? That kind of thing. Yeah. So at any rate, I'm really feeling out of my element. We're using this big fat book, Borodell and Potts from England. Really good book, but a massive book. Well, I'm reading everything we study, I'm reading it in 5 books. I'm reading it in Buxbaum, Eliot, Storer, Usinger. Some of these things, if they're all must be really key things. So I'm really working at it. So the first exam comes along, and the night before I'm really bearing down, and I start reading about the ctenophores, which is kind of an evolutionary blind, So around 11:30, I go, what the hell are you doing? Don't indulge yourself. Right? Get on there. So then I bared down and, studied what I thought were really the more major groups in that particular. The next day, the major essay question is to compare the ctenophores with the cnidarians. Yeah, I knew stuff, stuff that you'd never use in real life probably. So the exams come back, and I'm quite pleased. I got a good grade, and I never showed. One of these guys with rings looks over my shoulder. Whoa, he said, that must have been a good little school you went to. They never bothered me again after that. But the professor was wonderful. He would go with us, on field studies. The last one was, I think it was Duxbury. And in the spring, I'm trying to think of the bush. they're all over the town. The air is heavy with it. We're out on the mud flat, and I'm sticking like glue to I don't want to miss a word he says. And he reaches down and grabs a razor clam, which are very common. They're not so common along our shore. And he waits for the foot that comes out and he bites it off. So he grabs one and offers it. I regret to this day that I didn't take it. It's going like this. I said, gee, Doc, I'm not much on seafood. He said, well, if you want it fresh and sweet, it won't be better than this, you know. Anyway, after it's all over, the whole day, sun is setting, he opens up the back of his station wagon. His wife had baked a ham, brownies, and he had a stalk of bananas. He said, you know, it's my thanks for being a good class. And I copied that. Any class I had, some way I tried to break bread together. Might have been coffee and donuts, might have been pizza, you know, like with the marine biology course, we could stop on the way back and we'd get, you know, beer and pizza. And, you know, I would treat them sometimes so they wouldn't have to dig in. But John Henry Welch, he was a great professor.